Southampton Town Board to order on this 11th day of April 2023. Please rise if you're able and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and join with the town board in a moment of silence. We like to start our meetings off with a moment where we keep in our thoughts and prayers all the men and women of our armed services who defend our freedom both at home and abroad each day. So with them in mind, let's join together in silence. Thank you. Please be seated. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Schneiderman.
Present.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Present.
Councilman Martell.
Present.
Councilman Bouvier.
Here.
Councilman Schivoni.
Present.
All right, so we're all here. Thank you all for coming. As we have a number of people, a number of town employees and special guests here today. We have a couple things that we'll cover before our regular meeting gets started. I do want to say that you may not be aware of it, but this is a special week. It's dedicated to public safety telecommunicators. It's their week, and it really should be all year because these men and women do a phenomenal job. They work around the clock, 24/7, 365 days a year, and you know, it's their work that allows our police and ambulance and fire departments to do the job that they need to do. So and code enforcement. So it's really critical to all of our emergency services. And we really, on behalf of the town board, we just want to take a moment to appreciate all our public safety dispatchers. So thank you for that. We also have a number of code enforcement personnel here, and they are here to honor one of their own, Alan. About 5 years ago, 2018. He performs inspections, determines compliance, and makes sure that people are following our ordinances and laws. He's literally helped in every part of the town, Noyak, North Sag Harbor. He was previously assigned to Flanders and Riverside and Northampton and Hampton Bays. When he first started, all the way in the western portion out in Eastport. He conducts interviews in English and Spanish with residents and property owners regarding complaints and recommendations for correcting violations. He's handled numerous SOS complaints, and all this on top of being a dedicated father to several children. So I want to invite for this recognition a distinguished guest today. We're joined by retired U.S. Army Captain Robert Cornicelli. He is the host of In the Ring with Captain C on Long Island News Radio, 103.9 FM. He is also the founder of the Veterans Recovery Coalition. And I'd like to invite Robert up to the podium here to recognize Alan.
So thank you so much. It's good to come into one of these environments and everyone's laughing and joking around, but there's no joking about veteran suicide. It's bad. They say 22 a day for a catchphrase, but 22 a day is, and I hate to use the term successful suicide, that doesn't account for attempted suicide or people who had the thought of suicide. So everything you do here, everything you do for veterans, you may not know it, but you're saving lives when you understand what goes through a veteran's mind, especially one like Alan. And most veterans, especially combat veterans, they don't talk about their problems. They don't talk about their injuries. They don't talk about their PTSD, any struggles, whether it's substance dependency. In the military, especially Army like we were, No offense to the Navy, I did Navy too, but it's just, and I was telling the supervisor, you set a milestone, you get to it. You set a milestone, you get to it. You said, there's no obstacle. It's you got to get there or else people die. So there's no, my leg hurts. You know, I'll have a sick day. There's no sick days when you're in combat. Alan's had 5 combat deployments, and that's not like I did the counter-narco-terrorism task force. I wasn't getting shot at, but we were tracking terrorists and money. 5 combat deployments. Alan has seen more people lose their life than probably everybody in this room just with relatives. That man, and it tears me up, that man has had more suffering in his life than anybody you'll ever meet. Yet he goes on every day to serve his town, and I'm a municipal employee as well, to help his family, and to help veterans who are at the verge of maybe committing suicide. So we started this group 10 years ago. It's called Veterans for a More Responsive Government. And what we wanted to do is teach, I work for the town of Oyster Bay, and I noticed, see, in the military, every rank, you have to go through a certain training. If you're a sergeant and you want to become staff sergeant, you go to a training to deal with sergeants, what you just were. If you're a private and you go to a school for sergeants, you learn how to deal with the rank prior to that. It's just specialized training. If you notice in municipalities, there's no training on how to teach leadership, how to lead the people you just were. If I'm I don't know the ranks here, but if I'm a laborer, and I've been a laborer 10 years, and now I've become a labor supervisor, I know what it takes to be a laborer. I don't know how to lead them, and there's no training for that. In the military, you get trained at every level. The one thing we don't have in the municipalities, and we were talking, supervisor that I was working with Bridget Fleming on creating a task force to train unions, train municipalities on how to deal with veterans. You can't ask them if they have a disability. You can't ask them if they have PTSD. What if it's 4th of July or in or around 4th of July and all those fireworks and mortars are going off and these guys are hiding under their beds, but they're late the next day because they were up all day long cowering like they were trained to do when they were at a FOB down in Afghanistan or Iraq. Nobody understands what's going through their minds, yet when they're late, they get written up. Or if they, whatever the infraction is for a regular guy or girl, it's laziness or ignorance. But for someone who served in a combat area, if they're late, if they miss a day of work and they forget to call, there are other things going on. There's suffering inside that head, and I get sad, that you just don't understand. And what do? Instead of being a burden on their coworkers or their supervisors, they kill themselves. So we figured we have to start doing something about the attempted suicides and the suicide rate. So we started this group in 2014. And we've raised probably, and there's no overhead, there's not a single person who's on the payroll, about $500,000. And what we do is every Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Super Bowl, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Passover, Memorial Day, we feed every single veteran at or below the poverty level inside shelters, catered dinners to their shelter. If they're going back into the workforce, we fix their vehicles, we have them towed, we get the dents removed, we get the engines, we remove obstacles for veterans in need, so that's not an option. Death is not an option. We remove these obstacles. Christmas, Hanukkah, I don't know too much about Hanukkah. I just know if you're Jewish and your kids need gifts, come to us. No veteran on Long Island at or below the poverty level goes any Christmas, Hanukkah without every toy off their wish list. So if it's a girl and she gets like the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip, we don't do that. You want a doll, you want it the color of your skin, you want it the kind of hair, we make sure no veteran has an obstacle. Just think of a father or a mother who can't afford to buy their kid the yo-yo they want. That's not what a veteran can deal with. They can deal with any other obstacle, but failure to take care of the ones they love, the ones they lost, that's not an obstacle. I mean, that's not an option. So for the last 10 years, I've had to rely on Alan because to handle all Long Island, it's impossible. Bill owns Creative Productions. He's a professional videographer and video production guy. For 8 years, he's done every ounce of our advertising and our videography and getting the word out for nothing. But Alan, he's got a very big family. Let me tell you a little story about him. 5 combat deployments. On his last deployment, think of the wife home, taking care of 8 children, not knowing where he is, what's going on, if he's alive or if he's dead, 5 different times. She kind of couldn't handle it anymore, lost the house, lost everything. His entire family had to be moved to Florida into his parents' home, and he was about to go. I'm like, Alan, don't go down there. You will not make it as a warehouse manager. Let's get you into a municipality. Let's get you into a place where you could be taken care of, where you'll have your benefits and you'll have people who care about you. Municipal employees care about municipal employees. And he stayed. But in Smithtown, they didn't understand. We didn't go in there and say the guy's got 5 combat deployments and he's suffering. He just went in there like the trooper he was. And Vecchio, I don't know if you remember Pat Vecchio, loved him. Loved him more than anybody. He would call him up, hey, take me to this event, take me to that event, be my driver. But his supervisor didn't like it. Imagine that. Supervisor didn't like the fact that the town supervisor loved him. So he'd hassle him, until he couldn't deal with it anymore. Is that the way you treat a veteran? Someone who's spent his entire life defending your freedom because it's political? He wasn't looking to move up. I was down in D.C., I worked for the DIA, and I wasn't here to explain to him, we all know some of these jobs are political. You need to know somebody. And they picked on him, and picked on him, and picked on him. Thank God for Angie Carpenter, who said, I'm not letting this happen anymore. She took him into Islip and said, we will take care of you. And she says, I'm not going to keep you here. I'm going to make sure I look for a job on Long Island that pays the most and will benefit you the best. We obviously don't pay that much. And she turned him on to Southampton. The guy's a hero. And the fact that he spent the last 10 years making sure no veteran who's suffering from PTSD, no veteran suffering from disabilities will take their life. You here should understand what an amazing resource you have in that man. This guy was a brigade level senior NCO for logistics, meaning, yeah, your troops are in Afghanistan. Well, how does the water get there? There's no target there. How's the oil get there? This stuff's got to be railed, shipped for entire brigades. It's thousands of people. And that guy did it. He headed the entire operation. He's one of the most resourceful people I have ever met. And he puts everybody before himself. So because I couldn't do all this work on my own, and neither could Bill. Sarge, if you want to come up. We got you this little token of a 10-year anniversary. He's the co-founder of Veteran Recovery Coalition. So I want to thank you. What I ask of you, and I know the supervisor will make sure that happens. When you have a veteran, obviously you're not going to be able to ask them if they have any disabilities, but try to pry and find out, did you deploy? Try to find out if these people are suffering, because you don't want to lose them because we don't understand what they're going through. You'll never. I've had to rescue guys from under their beds. I had to drive back I was working in D.C. to remove the gun from their head. It's that bad. And it's that bad because we're not taking the time to understand the sacrifice that these people made. Vietnam, those guys and girls suffered because we really didn't take the time to understand. We can never let that happen again. So Supervisor, thank you. Jackie, thank you for helping me put this together. And to you guys, that's a hero. Don't forget that. You may joke around, but you haven't been where this guy's been. He's saved lives, he's saved people. He's given kids their parents back. So, thank you.
I'm not good with words, so I'm good with actions. But I want to thank everybody for coming out, and the town councilman and the supervisor for allowing this to happen. Thank you so much. Like you said, I'm here to serve, so whatever you guys need, That's what I'm here for.
We appreciate all that you've done for our nation
Thank you,
and all
sir.
you're doing for the town.
Thank you, sir.
And that's
Thank
a
you.
small token of appreciation, but I wouldn't know how to give an appropriate token other than say thank you. We're all blessed by your service, so,
Well, it's an honor, sir, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh, we still love you, sir. Another Navy guy,
Glad we got you here in the town of
Now
Southampton.
back to work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good seeing you guys. Yeah. Season 40, 151. I'm watching it. Bye.
Bye.
I trimmed it.
All right, back to work. So the next order of business, well, let's walk on a couple resolutions. So there are 4 resolutions for consideration to be added to our agenda. 42986, which is sponsored by Councilman Bouvier and co-sponsored by Councilman Scavone, authorizes the supervisor to sign a contract with Brunswick Appraisal Corporation. 43051 is our 7th warrant. 43055 authorizes the sale of one full development right within the Southampton School District. 43057 appoints Michael Osborne to office assistant position in town clerk's office. Make a motion to walk those 4 on. Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, next order of business, I'll make a motion to approve the regular town board meeting minutes of March 28th, 2023.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. Next, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of our special town board meeting of March 29th.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Martell, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you kindly read the communications?
The following communications have been received in the office of the town clerk. We have received public notices from the Village of Sag Harbor, the Village of Sagaponic, public hearing notice, emails, letters, and land use applications regarding the following: Bel Air Cove Motel, Hampton Bays, cannabis dispensaries and on-site consumption, Hampton Bays Civic Association's resolution in opposition to the New York Housing Compact, Zoning Board of Appeals applications for 2 TP Street, Hampton Bays, and 322 East Montauk Highway in Hampton Bays as well. The following bid and RFPs took place on March 29th. The requirements to contract to furnish and install asphalt concrete, Highway Department. Bid was roll-off containers, Waste Management and Highway Department. Sports courts resurfacing and construction requirements contract for the Parks Department. On April 5th, a 2022 Ford 250 Super Duty for the Parks Department, 2023 Silverado 1500 for the Bay Constable, mobile concession at Red Creek Park, Parks Department, mobile food truck concession for Good Ground Park. All 4 of those no bids were received. The 5th bid was mobile ice cream concession for Good Ground Park, Parks Department, structured demolition at 62 Red Creek Road in Hampton Bays for the CPF. The following report was filed from the Town Comptroller for the March 2023 monthly financial reports, and that concludes the communications for this meeting's agenda.
All right. Thank you, Cindy. Okay, we're going to move on to public hearings. We have 3 scheduled for today. Cindy, would you read the first public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 1 for the consideration of 1-year agricultural use agreement for 2023-2024 pursuant to Chapter 247 of the Town Code.
And who is introducing this? Anybody?
It is my resolution, and these are the same as the agricultural reserves that were put forward last year.
Okay. Is
So-
there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard at public hearing number 1? All right, we'll go online. Charles, is there anyone indicating that they wish to be heard at the hybrid portion of this meeting? If you're watching from your computer and you want to weigh in, at this first public hearing, you need to click the raise hand icon, and then we will bring you on.
I see no hands.
All right, I'll make a motion to close the first public hearing,
Second?
seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Madam Clerk, the second public hearing notice.
Public hearing number 2, to consider the acquisition of lands of Jill Rappaport, 427 Little Noyak Path in the hamlet of Watermill, New York.
Okay, Jacqueline Fenlon, our CPF Program Manager, will introduce this.
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor and Town Council members. Nice to see you again. I hope you all had a nice holiday weekend. We are before you today to have the public hearing for the property owned by Jill Rappaport. She is in the audience tonight. And she is the owner of 5.9 acres of land located at 427 Little Noyak Path in the hamlet of Watermill. Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-35-2-22.4. And Jill Rappaport has expressed an interest to sell this to the town for preservation purposes for $2.4 million. I did want to note that this is in the open space greenbelt area for the community preservation plan as preservation and open space. It's also within the Eastern GIS, which is the South Fork Pine Barrens, and includes glacial forested knolls, kettle holes, as well as it is directly south of Camps Pond region, which also has endangered species such as tiger salamander. Sorry about that.
How big is the lot?
It's 5.9 acres.
5.9 acres. Now,
Yeah.
this one, there's an agreement that Ms. Rappaport will be able to use a small portion of this for the purposes of boarding horses.
Correct. There is a license agreement that we are taking part in. We do, the long game is to own this outright, and we will be buying this in fee title. We did look at this, because it is pasture land right now with the horses. There's very
Well,
minimal.
most of it's wooded.
Yeah,
right?
most of it's wooded. Yeah, this is all wooded in here. But I think it's such an important piece that we don't want this to slip through our fingers, and we really do appreciate working with Ms. Rappaport on this acquisition. It would be subject to a license agreement for a defined area to allow her horses that are there that are currently senior horses to age gracefully in place. And then once those horses are gone, essentially that would no longer be in effect, and the property would either be actively restored or passively revegetated.
So it's 10 years she would have use of that, it's like a quarter acre,
Yeah, it's mainly this area right here.
and that would be defined, the area that she could use for horse boarding. I think there's a structure there, a little stable or some sort.
Yeah, there's a small stable here, which I think is the main one, and then there's like a couple like shed
And what happens
structures.
after 10 years? Should there,
Those structures would have to be removed.
would that be, she would have the opportunity to remove them from the site,
Correct.
or abandon them, in which case we would remove them?
Yeah, I mean, if they're not in great condition, but preference would be, and I think it's stipulated that it would be her responsibility to remove them.
Okay, and what if the horses are still alive after 10 years?
You know what, all we have is the 10. I think
It's
we were
10.
looking at 5 years at first with a possible extension of 5 years, but instead of doing that, and these two horses are in their senior years, but at different ages.
So it's unlikely that they would be.
Yeah, and Dan has actually been working
Would
very
she have the
well.
right to move other horses into that space?
No, it is specifically for these two elderly horses.
And we have the
Yeah, to make
ability
sure.
to enforce that? Can you recognize one horse versus another?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And some people can't. To me, they all look the same.
Yeah, I saw them when I was on a site inspection.
All you have to do is ride them. You'll remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just wanted to note that this is the Palmont Path right here, so it's
Well,
very valuable, and then Camps Pond is right there.
Will Ms. Rappaport indemnify us for like, anything that happens on that quarter acre, like, if somebody gets hurt or something, or,
Yeah, I believe that's a structure.
We have an indemnification and local bonus agreement provision in the agreement. There also
Can't hear that.
Can't
Dan,
hear you,
they
Dan.
need you to speak
Mr.
from the
McCormick,
podium.
would
Can
you
you-
please?
Or you could repeat it.
You could repeat it, yeah.
No, I want to make him say it again.
You did a nice job at it. Yeah.
Yes.
Introduce yourself.
Dan McCormick, Assistant Town Attorney on behalf of the Community Preservation Department. Mr. Supervisor, to answer your question directly, we have both a hold harmless and indemnification agreement. Within the proposed provisions of that agreement, we'll also require insurance protecting our interests with regard to this particular endeavor as we go forward.
So this is sort of like
Thank you.
a life estate for 2 horses. right?
Yes, in effect, it is a cap of 10 years with respect to this.
So if those horses pass away before 10 years, does that end the license agreement?
Yes, because it's inuring solely to the benefit of these 2 specific horses by way of accommodation for Ms. Rappaport, who has represented that to us through her attorney, Wayne Bruin.
Okay. Wayne, is that correct? That's your understanding?
So good afternoon, Wayne Bruin. I'm here on behalf of Jill Rappaport, who's in the audience as well. And that is correct, Mr. Supervisor, that the license agreement is only for the benefit of, and these are 2 horses that Jill has rescued, and they're senior horses, and it would be very traumatic and almost end their lives if they had to be moved elsewhere. And it's only because of that that Jill negotiated this at a reduced price, and thank you for the benefit that you provided, but it will be for the life of the horses. So
Okay,
that is
thank you,
agreed.
Wayne.
Are they geldings, or are they
I'm not,
breedable horses?
Not at this,
One is a mare? Okay.
but postmenopausal. I don't know.
Doesn't, well,
Yeah, Jackie, what happens in the future?
Yes.
So there's basically a quarter acre that is cleared for, like,
Yeah.
the cows graze, I don't know, but for the horse use, not cows graze, the horses graze. I guess they do.
they do.
They do? I don't know much about horses, but at the end of the period, does this become wooded, or does it remain a grassed area?
It'll just reclaim
I
itself.
think we'll just look at it to passively revegetate. If there's a need, we might go in and do some active restoration. But this whole area also has been a victim
Because there's a
of the southern
residential
pine beetle.
property currently owned by Ms. Rappaport next to it. I just
Yes.
want to make sure that, some future owner didn't, not that Jill is going to sell it, but didn't
Yeah.
encroach upon.
Which is one of
This
the, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's one of the reasons I really wanted this to be in fee title rather than an easement, because I feel like you have more encroachments with an easement. So we will go, once the horses have passed or the use has been abandoned, we'll go in there actually and delineate it with a split rail fence, and then we do annual inspections. As well as we'll monitor this probably as for our invasive species as it's reclaimed.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Ms.
I
Fenley?
have a couple. A question about this is a flag lot, 5-acre flag lot. First of all, very exciting acquisition, in my opinion. This is a deep water recharge area. It also is contiguous to the Camps Pond Preserve area, which is, it's a unique cattle hole back there and quite beautiful. The pole of the flag, is there an access way there, or is that a wooded?
There's
it-
not presently.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the
There
entrance
is a
to the,
driveway to this house, but right now it is not cleared.
and that's not on that property, it's adjacent to the flag, which is
Yeah.
common,
Yeah, and
okay.
we have to get a recent survey to make sure that we see exactly where that driveway
Well,
is.
we will have access to this through our other property holding, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
this has road
Right.
frontage, so we'll be able to come in. You would also be able to come in, possibly like a trail spur could come in and meet in with the Pominock Path from the south.
Okay. I know this area had an infestation of southern pine beetle, like many areas on eastern Long
Correct.
Island. So a
Yes.
lot of the pitch pines died on that area, but they're being filled in by the deciduous broadleaf trees.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
evidence of that when I was on site. A lot of
Okay.
trees had to come down that were dead or dying.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Okay.
No.
Other questions for Ms. Fenlon? Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks.
And Wayne, I had you as a card, but you're done, right?
Just in case you weren't.
Okay, is there anyone else from the public who wishes to be heard at this public hearing? Seeing none here at Town Hall. Charles, anyone indicating they wish to be heard?
I see no hands.
I'll give it one moment here. If you are watching from a remote location and wish to be heard at public hearing 2 on the acquisition of lands of Jill Rappaport at 427 Little Noyak Path in Watermill, please click the raise hand icon.
I see no hands.
Okay, I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will move on to our third public hearing notice. Madam Clerk?
Public hearing number 3, to accept a deed of residual fee from Joseph F. Gaza for properties to be maintained as open space located at North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-63 for 30.1 and 40.1 pursuant to Southampton Town Code 244-4, obtaining a development rights certificate, and 247 General Municipal Law of the State of New York.
All right, thank you, Sunday. And Anthony Trezza from the Planning Department is here to introduce us.
Anthony Trezza, Principal Planner with the town. I'm actually here on behalf of Dave Wilcox, who's not here. This is for a hearing for the town board to accept the deed of residual fee for 2 Gaza properties, identified as tax map numbers 900-63-4, lots 30.1 and I believe 40.1. They are unaddressed. They are scrub properties located in North Sea on the map of Ocean View Park. It's an old filed map, also in the APOD, Critical Environmental Area. And this is the public hearing to accept these deeds as open space. You'll see in this area that's from the map that was presented. A lot of the property's already been preserved and it's under the town's ownership or in the county ownership, as you know. And little by little, we keep piecing these together. Obviously, this area is not to be developed. It's not an opened subdivision map. And I'm here to answer any questions. These 2 properties were issued development rights certificates, and you can see they correspond to the size of the property. Since they're in the CR 200, the size of the property, they get a portion of the credit.
And this is on for a vote today. It's in our package.
It is also a resolution in the packet for a vote.
So these properties, the fee is owned by Mr. Gaza. The development rights have already been stripped.
Yes.
So from a management perspective, having it all under town management would help us.
Yeah, sure.
I think there's some benefits that accrue to Mr. Gaza too, some tax benefits by giving these deeds to us.
Sure.
Right, sure.
Yeah, I would say it's mutually beneficial.
It's mutually
There's
beneficial.
a little anecdote. Back in 1997, when I was a wee intern with the Central Pine Barrens Commission, I spent the entirety of my summer calculating Joe Gaza's little certificates, Pine Barren certificates. That was my duty as a young, naive entry planner. And that's what I spent all summer doing.
You probably were not paid as much as Joe Gaza made.
I could
counting
assure you I
those
wasn't.
little- Those little pieces of ownership, yes. So, all right. All right, well, thank you, Anthony.
Anytime, my pleasure.
All right, any
Part
other
of my
questions?
appearance, this is a site inspection day for me, so.
No worries, thank you.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so to the public, is there anyone here who wishes to be heard at this public hearing? Seeing none. Charles, do we have anybody, is Mr. Gaza present? I don't think so. Do you have anybody online looking to be heard?
No hands.
All right, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing number 3. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, so that's it for public hearing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony. All right, we're moving on to public portion. Public portion affords the public the opportunity to speak on any subject, not just the public hearings. So we have no one left here in Town Hall at the moment, so we'll go to our Online audience, do we have anyone who wants to be heard in public portion?
No, sir. Yeah.
I'll give it one more moment. If you wish to be heard by the town board on any issue, now is your moment. Just click the raise hand icon.
No hands.
I'll make a motion to close public portion.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, public portion is closed. We will move on to resolutions. We're waiting on John. John, you want to come back in here and we'll start? Rick, you want to read the
Sure.
first?
Town Board Resolution 517 of 2023, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara. Authorized change order for subaqueous water main crossings, Shinnecock Canal at Mashut Beach, and Ponquag Bridge at Lighthouse Road.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. John, are you an aye?
Yes.
John's an aye too.
He's not
I saw him
present.
nod
He
from the
can't-
hall.
Wait, he's out
He
of the
can't be.
room.
John,
Okay. Is there a timing on the vote here?
we can add him to the vote in a moment.
On the motion? The subaqueous crossing in
Are you
Hampton
just trying to
Bays is
stall?
incredibly,
Well, you know, this is that project that brings the pipe underneath the Shinnecock Canal
We're
and
waiting on
the
your vote. for
Shinnecock
this
Bay.
First resolution.
And this
we're
is
filibustering,
just
John.
simply
Sorry about that.
minor.
Jay had to talk
Change
to
order.
fill in the space. Can you
my God.
Okay,
imagine?
so once again,
Say aye.
I will
John.
call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, on one.
I didn't want you to miss the vote. All right, so we were stalling. 518 of 23, authorized purchases of technology catalog solutions from CDW dash G using Sourcewell contract.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
I approve. 519 of 23, authorized supervisor to execute agreements with Sun 20 TV vendors for production assistance.
Second?
I just want to see one more thing.
It's for the Your Health Matters segment.
This is just for Your Health Matters?
Yeah.
Okay, so seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 520 of 2023, to authorize the supervisor to execute any and all agreements with Harris Govern, a division of N. Harris Computer Corporation, for an upgrade to their open form software solution.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 521 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone, to authorize the supervisor to sign a satisfaction of mortgage on a community development block grant loan.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 522 of 2023, authorized supervisor to sign contract extension with Mercury Marine for Mercury Marine Parts.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I approve. 523 of 2023, authorized supervisor to sign contract with H2M Architects, Engineers, Land Surveying for professional services related to improvements to the building department entrance.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 524 of 23, authorized supervisor to sign contract with Nelson and Pope for professional services related to speed limit reduction at Big Fresh Pond Road in North Sea.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 525 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorized supervisor to sign a no-cost extended contracts with Palace Electrical Controls Incorporated for the electrical portion, Philip Ross Industries for the plumbing mechanical portion, and East End Material, DBA East End Group, for the general construction for the wellhead treatment for the removal of iron and manganese at plant number 4.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
I approve. 526 of 23, authorize the purchase and installation of pavers from Del Al Concrete Corporation for the Windsor Hart project using Suffolk County DPW contract.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 527 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorizes the purchase of heavy equipment, parts, accessories, supplies, and related services from Omnia Partners contract with Caterpillar.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 528 of 2023, co-sponsored with the entire board, authorize the supervisor to execute a 2023 license agreement with Suffolk County Community College for the use of the Eastern Campus Pool for lifeguard training.
I'd like to second, and on the motion, thanks, Rick. It's been a long haul. I can't remember how many phone calls between the board of the college, the county, and so forth, so it's nice that it's happened,
Finally.
finally.
I was involved with this at the county, helping to get this funded and built.
I just wanted to thank you all.
Oh, thanks, Jill.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Well, we haven't voted on hers yet then. But when I was arguing for it at the legislature, one of the arguments I was making was that that pool was gonna benefit the entire community, and the town was gonna be able to use it for lifeguard training, which hopefully would save lives. And it wasn't until now that we're finally getting to use it. We've been shipping our lifeguards out to St. Joseph's.
St. Joseph's, yeah.
So, it's nice.
It's still not cheap, though. That's the next phase
Yeah.
of this, is we want to work the prices down. 'Cause it's a
Well, at least we get to
little
use
up
it.
there.
It's a really beautiful facility, and I'm glad finally they're letting us in, so, to all of you. All right, so there's a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. 529 of 23, authorize the supervisor to execute a contract extension with J&V Auto Salvage, Inc. for removal of abandoned junk and decommissioned vehicles.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 530 of 2022, authorize the supervisor to execute a donation agreement for the installation of an irrigation system at North Sea Community Park.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 531 of 2023, to declare items surplus and authorize disposal of computer equipment.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 532 of 23 rescinds Town Board Resolution 2023-123 and 2023-315, and authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with Nelson and Pope Engineering, Architecture, and Land Surveying, PPLC, for professional services related to various projects.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 533 of 2023, 2023 notice to bidders for a 2022 Ford F-250 Super Duty with open utility service body.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 534 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone, is a 2023 notice to bidders for F-22 Ford F-350 SRW 4x4 Super Cab.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 535 of 2023 is the second notice to bidders for 2022 Ford F-600 dump truck.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 536 of 23 amends the 23 adopted budget for ambulance districts.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 537 of 23 authorizes expenditure from restricted account for the Windsor Hart project.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 538 of 2023, co-sponsored by Councilman Martell, establishes and appoints members to the Bel Air Cove Motel Advisory
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. And we'll be doing outreach. I think Rick will be
Yeah, we
doing
have probably 3/4 of the list filled so far. We just need to come up with a meeting date, and the library has offered to use their facility if
Oh,
we need it.
beautiful. Okay, any discussion? I'll call the vote.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I see the end date is July 15th,
Yes,
okay, of this year.
yes. So it's almost like a task force, this
Right.
committee.
And I already reached out to trustee Warner regarding the dredging, getting the spoils tested, so we can start that process.
Oh, that's good. All right, so 539 so that was approved, that last one.
Yes.
538. We're moving on to 539 of 23, reappoints Jeremiah Collins to the Conservation Board.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved, and congratulations. Cindy, you're next.
Oh. 540 of 2023, appoint Cecilia Gardner to the North Sea Citizens Advisory Committee.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 541 of 23, continuation of legal services by Coughlin and Gerhard LLP to provide legal services regarding personnel matters related to the Southampton Town Police Department for 2023.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 54223 is a resolution of adoption amending various sections of the town code in connection with retail cannabis dispensaries within the town of Southampton.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone, and sort of in a nutshell, this allows cannabis dispensaries. This doesn't deal with on-site consumption at all, or any of the other state allowable commercial uses. This is only for dispensaries. It limits it to the highway business zone and the shopping center business zone, with quite a number of setbacks from various things, community facilities, from schools, from houses of worship, and you also have to meet special exemption standards. So it's not a given. You still have to go before the planning board and demonstrate that you comply with all of the special exemption standards. And I appreciate the board working with me on this. As everybody's aware, it's recreational cannabis is now legal in New York State. It's already for sale within the boundaries of the town of Southampton on the Shinnecock Reservation. And this now will allow other licensed vendors who wish to participate in this on a limited scale, some additional locations. All right, any discussion?
Yeah, if I could, I'm not going to support this. I know it's probably the best case scenario at this time, but with the villages opting out and the hamlets, village business districts not quite representative of what they consider downtown, and the conversations I've had with the CACs that I represent, I cannot support this at this time.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'll just weigh in if I could. I appreciate this staying out of village business. I also appreciate keeping this out of LI 40 so that our contractors are not competing with dispensaries for the limited contractor space that we currently have. As you said, we weren't tasked with, should we allow this? That's already been decided. This was just time and place. And, you know, I feel like if we're too restrictive, you know, the state has already said that they will come in and basically authorize people to go in places if we're saying, you know, the zoning is so limited that they can't find a place. So I think having it places where you have to drive to, various against having it with, you know, downtowns with foot traffic in our village business, I think this is the best scenario we could have asked for in this case, without having the state come in and saying we were too restrictive. So I think it keeps it where retail belongs, and, you know, we'll just have to work with our youth and make sure we have programming in place that supports them and the vendors do the right thing. So,
You know, and the same could be said too of liquor stores and things like that.
Mhm.
We need to keep our youth away from alcohol and other, substances that could be harmful to them, so.
I think the village business boundaries sometimes are relatively old, and, we've sprawled out past those in walking distance nowadays. You can have a Starbucks that's in village business that's, 100 yards from downtown, and then you put a dispensary next to that, and, you're defeating the purpose, because your young people are hanging out at Starbucks or at Carvel, and, I think it's time to maybe relook at those boundaries for something like this.
So, I think there is some referral to the town when a location is picked, that we have, like we have with liquor licenses, that we can have some say. So if, we're given a location, even though it might be compliant with our code, that we believe is an inappropriate location, we can say to the state that we think that's too close to the village boundary, or whatever it might be. So we do have some discretion there. Whether the state will listen to us, who knows, but.
Okay, I'm not counting on that.
Yeah. But
Thank you.
There are also tax ramifications, and it's going to be somewhat of a revenue generator. And considering that cannabis is legal in New York State and delivery is not precluded even by the towns that opted out in the villages, it can still be delivered by various businesses based pretty much anywhere.
Right.
So, that was one of the reasons that we took into consideration when we passed this. So, and we're also uniquely positioned with a federally recognized nation within our boundaries.
Exactly. Okay, so I will call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Abstentions? Okay, so we have a 4-1 vote Sunday with Councilman Martell voting in opposition.
Town Board Resolution 543 of 2023, authorize temporary road closure and traffic pattern for Jones Lane Bridge repair in Bridgehampton.
second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 544 of 2023 is the 2023 International Dark Skies Week.
Second.
This begins this Saturday, the 15th, and goes through the 22nd. And we will actually be having a public hearing at our next meeting to discuss changes to this code, which was adopted in, I believe, 2009. And a lot of municipalities have actually copied our code. It's kind of been the go-to.
Yeah, and there's been some technological advances that we should probably take care of.
Which
so
that we
I think
did in the
time
code,
is right.
So
Yeah.
there's nothing specific other than encouraging residents to sort of dim
Yeah,
the
it's just,
lights?
we do this every year. It's just to recognize that it's International Dark Skies Week. Encourage people to go outside and view the night sky, and
We're not turning off any
No.
lights of any kind.
you can.
Well,
Good idea. The
You know,
latest
it-
municipality to adopt the code within our borders is the Village of North Haven. And I know that they were informed by our code, and I think they did a good job.
Okay, so we had a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Town Board Resolution 545, co-sponsored with the entire board, it seems, is authorization of cost reimbursement waiver for the Hanover American Legion Post 924 Annual Memorial Day Parade on May 29th, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 546, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone, is a cost reimbursement waiver for the Rosenberg Spionk Union Free School District Annual Memorial Day Parade on May 26, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. That's a lot of fun. It's a little school with a lot of heart.
Long parade.
Yeah. It is a long parade, yeah.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Town Board Resolution 547, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone and Councilman Martell, authorization of cost reimbursement waiver for Hampton Bays High School class of 2023 commencement parade held on June 20th, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Second?
Seconded by
Oh, the one person that's not on it.
You want to be added?
You were excited, that's good.
All right, just add everybody on. You want to be added?
Yes,
Cindy, right?
please.
So, and I'm not going to be left out here too. So we'll put
Is this the one that
us-
goes over the parade, over the
Over the
bridge?
bridge.
Yep,
Yeah.
over the bridge.
The parade
Something-
over the bridge.
Something good came out of COVID.
No fishing.
No, no fishing.
So it was seconded by the one of the newer co-sponsors. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
And we're all co-sponsoring.
Town Board Resolution 548, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone, is a cost reimbursement waiver for iTries Hampton's Youth Triathlon on July 15th, 2023, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. That's a great organization, too.
It is.
549 of 23, accepts resignation of Ashley and Dexter, Senior Office Assistant in Human Resources.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 550 of 2023, accepts retirement of Stephen Miller, Southampton Town Police Detective Sergeant.
Second. Thank you,
Seconded.
Sergeant Miller.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. So just before we vote, just I wanted to thank Police Detective Sergeant Miller for his years of service to the town and wish him the best in his retirement. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I want to extend my appreciation in my office, working with Sergeant Miller over the years. He's just a great guy, wonderful to work with, and we're going to miss him very much.
Yeah.
Because he did a lot of those special events.
He did special events, he did the taxis, he did, peddlers, all the applications that our office coordinates with the police department, and he was a pleasure to work with. Very dedicated.
Yeah, I second that, absolutely.
We have a lot of seconds.
A lot of good things.
Good things to second.
So we called the vote, yes?
You did, yes.
Okay, so I'm on to 551 of 23, reinstating Jacqueline McKay to Senior Justice Court Clerk position in Justice Court.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 552, I need to amend. This is 552 of 2023, because the effective date says April 16th on this one, and it should say April 15th, so
It's a Scribner's error, I can correct.
I don't mind doing it as a motion to amend. So I'll make a motion to amend 552 to just change the effective date to the 15th rather than 16th of April.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and now I'd like to make a motion to approve as amended, 552 of 2023, accepts retirement of Jacqueline McKay, Senior Justice Court Clerk in Justice Court.
Second.
Second by Councilman Martell, and just on the motion, I just want to thank Jackie for her years of service. I want to say it's close to 30, maybe 27, 28 years here with the town, and the court, Justice Court will miss her. She's been a longstanding employee and has done a lot to advance the department, so. Anyone else on the motion? No. Okay, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. We certainly wish her the best in her retirement. So that was approved as amended. All right, 553 of 23 appoints Selena Burbig to Justice Court Director in the Town Justice Court.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. Just on the motion too, I think we're very fortunate to get Selena. She's an extremely talented young person with a great deal of knowledge and experience, who I think will do a phenomenal job continuing the work of others at the Justice Court, and we really look forward to her service to the town of Southampton. Wish her the best of luck in the post. Anyone else? All right, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Congratulations to Selena. 554 of 23 appoints James Moran to Maintenance Mechanic 3 position in the Water District.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved, and congratulations. 555 of 23 appoints Julie Fitzgerald to Associate Administrator position in Housing and Community Development.
Second.
We like her, she's good.
Who's my second?
John.
You guys fight it out?
Either way. Either way.
Rock, paper, scissors? Who ended up with it?
John.
John.
All right, seconded by
But
Councilman
I
Bouvier.
would
Yeah.
suggest that both of us be co-sponsors on this, because Julie's a big part of
Yeah.
what goes on down there, and it's important, and she's really good for the
Do
job.
you want to
And that
co-sponsor?
Sure, sure.
All right,
Yeah, likewise.
All right, so we'll add Councilman Bouvier and Councilman Scivone as co-sponsors. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. Congratulations to Julie. 556 of 2023 appoints Kurt Bayer to custodial worker 1 position in municipal works.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, congratulations. 557. So that was approved. I'm sorry, I forgot to say approved, and congratulations. 557 of 23 appoints Matthew Palmieri to Records Management Assistant position in Town Clerk's Office.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. Congratulations. 558 of 2023 appoints Merritt Miller to Maintenance Mechanic 2 position in Senior Services.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved, and congratulations to Merritt. 559 of 2023 authorizes the hiring of Charles Steuerwald Jr., police officer start.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McNamara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. Congratulations to Officer Steuerwald. 560 of 2023, authorized reimbursement for drug court judges' attendance at the New York Association of Treatment Court Professionals Conference in Saratoga, New York, from March 8th through March 10th of 2023,
Second.
which is in the past, but that's fine. Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. 561 of 2023, authorized sergeant to attend advanced crisis negotiation course
Second.
in Orange County, New York. Seconded by Councilman Scivone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 562 of 23, extends probationary period for automotive mechanic 5.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 563 of 2023, co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier. Notice of public hearing to amend Town Code, Chapter 312, Vehicles and Traffic, parking prohibited on portions of Windermere Court and Spion.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. This would be an April 25th hearing, 6 PM, here and also hybrid. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 564 of 2023, notice of public hearing, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell. Notice of public hearing to consider authorizing the Triton Lane East Quogue Beach Parking Pilot Program.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. This hearing would be May 9th.
April
Of-
25th.
April 25th.
I'm sorry?
Resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. This hearing is, sorry, the next one is May 9th. This one is April 25th at 6 PM. And this would open up a new picnic area, sort of a beach parking area along the ocean beaches in the area, I think 100 feet around Triton Lane, 150 feet total. I think the road right-of-way is 50. And it was really just on Sundays in the summer plus Monday holidays. So like July 4th Monday and Labor Day Monday, on a trial basis. All right, So we had a motion, and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 565 of 2023, notice of public hearing to consider a change of, it's co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier. Notice of a public hearing to consider a change of zone from R80 to agricultural conservation and to consider acceptance of an agricultural conservation district easement for property located at 50 Jobs Lane, Bridgehampton, at the specified tax map number with corresponding amendment to the zoning map.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
That one is May 9th.
That is May 9th, thank you, at 1 PM. All right, 566 of 2023, resolution setting a public hearing to consider amending Town Code Section 330-77 to increase the permitted required yard lot coverage percentage.
Second.
Second by Councilman Scavone. This one is also May 9th at 1 PM. Janice Shearer was here the other day explaining this, because instead of using backyards, people are squeezing sheds and other structures into their side yards closer to their neighbors, because we have a sort of a severe limitation as to how much of your rear yard you can cover. It doesn't change the total coverage, but it does, favor, if we make this change, then I think that you won't see the zoning board having to do so many variances and things like that, because it sort of makes sense to have it in the backyard rather
Currently,
than up
the rear
against your
rear
neighbor.
yard coverage is 20%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you also have another issue that's probably gonna come forward as well, is preventing people from clearing properties before they've obtained a building permit to do so, because there's been no plan that's submitted for building or anything on it. So we wanna come back to you with some way of preserving portions of these properties before they just get cleared arbitrarily, so. And that's meeting outside of the AOPD district.
so this is May 9th hearing. Do we have a second on this?
Me. Second.
Yeah, so it's co-sponsored by Councilman Scavone, who's seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 567 of 2023, we just closed the public hearing on, is accept a deed of residual fee from Joseph F. Gaza for properties to be maintained as open space located at North Sea, Suffolk County tax map as indicated in the resolution, pursuant to the Southampton Town Code, Chapter 244-4, obtaining a development rights certificate, and Chapter 247, General Municipal Law of the State of New York.
Second. Second.
All right, seconded by Councilman Scavone, and yeah, we had some testimony from Anthony Trezza earlier today on behalf of Dave Wilcox, so. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 568 of 2023, resolution of adoption, accepting agricultural, scenic, and drainage easement in connection with the subdivision application of M4 Lumber Holdings LLC in Bridgehampton.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. All right, that brings us to the walk-ons. John, you're the first there.
Walk-on number 42986, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone, is to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Brunswick Appraisal Corporation.
Second.
Seconded by co-sponsor Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. Resolution ID number 43051 is warrant number 7, capital number 7, CPF number 7, and payroll liability.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. ID number 43055 authorizes the sale of one full development right within the Southampton School District.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. Let me just explain this. So this, some of you may remember the Conklin property, which was purchased both with CPF and housing funds prior to any of us being here. we had talked about doing affordable housing on it, and ultimately decided not to do affordable housing, but just simply strip the property of the development rights. I think there were a total of 15 development rights, 5 of which go to the CPF program for their 1/3, and those can only be given away for affordable housing, to my understanding. And then the other 10 are unencumbered, and they belong to the Affordable Housing Fund or community housing. So there's 10 of them, and we've been sitting on them. They're all in the Southampton School District. Sometimes people need development rights because they want to build a carriage house or clear a little extra property. There's a number of ways these things can be used. Subdividing a property that's a little shy in terms of how much acreage they have. So they have some value to them, and we have 10 of them. And this one, we have 2 appraisals on these. So this would be for $200,000.
So I unfortunately wasn't here at the last draft review. Can you explain what the Southampton School District has to do with this, and how does that affect their rights to assume pilot payments from this sale?
Doesn't affect
At all?
No, it doesn't affect them at all.
You didn't miss anything. It's a
In any
walk-on.
way.
I didn't
So-
miss anything?
It's a walk-on.
No, I thought that you had discussed.
No,
it.
it doesn't,
No.
it doesn't affect the CPF pilot program. Even in the newest proposed pilot, Southampton School District is not one of the school districts that is a beneficiary of that. This won't change that.
The rights are school district specific.
Yeah. and-
Rights obtained in the school
Within
district to
the
be
school
sold
district.
and used within the school
Yeah,
district.
stay within the school
Right.
districts, yeah.
Right.
All right.
So, yes, exactly. So this is,
I just want to get that clarified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
has
so you
nothing to
can't
do
buy
with-
one from Southampton School District and use it in Hampton Bays to increase density.
well, you wouldn't want to because
vice versa.
it's.
More
the
expensive.
Southampton School District credits are worth substantially more than the Hampton Bays School District credits, because just the cost of land is more within the school district,
Yeah,
so.
we try to keep them within.
But you can't use a Hampton Bays district
You can't
credit
transfer them from one to the other.
and use it in Southampton, right? So,
It's similar to the Pine Barrens Credit Program, which Health Department wants you to keep it in the same groundwater management zones. This is our. way
Yeah, and I bring it up because it will come up, and I'd rather
Sure.
have it come up here. Okay, thank you.
you know, the one positive thing is I'm pretty sure the original acquisition here was $1.5 million for the land, with $1 million of it coming from the housing fund. And so for that $1 million, we now have these 10 credits. And if we get at least 200,000 per credit, we'll have $2 million. So we'll get the $1 million back and potentially double it. Though, of course, time has gone on, but this is not to say that the next credit will have to sell at 200,000. But we did have an offer at 200,000, and we've evaluated and determined that it's
How do we set that rate?
it's
How do we set the
appropriate to
cost?
sell this
We
credit.
did a price.
All right, any other discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. And the last one, 43057, appoints Michael Osborne to office assistant position in the town clerk's office.
Second.
Wasn't that in the package?
No.
That was another one. I
Extra
will
help.
be-
We got
Both
two.
my divisions will be complete after you adopt this resolution. So I
Yay.
thank you, and I thank Janice for getting it on the agenda, because we interviewed him just this morning.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
So who was my second on this?
I am.
Councilman
Your
Bouvier
town clerk,
seconding?
liaison.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, okay,
As your
all in
support
favor?
always.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Aye.
Okay, that's all, folks. I don't have any other resolutions. Is there any other business?
No.
Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned.